afternoon. I just want to go over 1.6 lesson on Amazon Future Engineer real quick. Basically, it's talking about input. There are videos and slides that you can review on your own, as well as some notes down here that you can look at. But the main thing is talk about input, and what input is where you basically are asking the user to type in information so that you can then use that information. The easiest way to do that is through a variable. And what a variable does is holds information for you. So you can create a variable that is an input, and when it asks the user something, when they input their response, it will be defined in that variable. Okay. Now, these variables can change. We can do different things with the variables, but it allows us to kind of get a start of how we can use input in our programs. All right. Other objective, says describe the rules for good variable naming. It has to start with a letter. It cannot have spaces in it, and you'll see that some as we go forward. And usually it starts with a lowercase letter, and then when you add in a new word, it is a capital letter. That is something that good programmers do. Since you can't have spaces, it allows you to see where the separation of the words are. And it should always tell you what it is that you're putting into the variable. So, for example, in math, you use the variable x a lot. If I want to have somebody's name, using the variable x isn't really good because it doesn't tell me anything. So we would just put in the word name as our variable. All right. And you'll see that kind of as we move forward. I'm going to go over the the code practices, not the lesson practices. Make sure you do the lesson practice. It's 3 questions. Okay, code practice. Question 1. Write a program that uses 2 input statements to get 2 words as input. Then print the words on one line separated by a space. Your program's output should only include the 2 words and a space between them. Hint, to print both words on one line, remember that you can concatenate or add 2 phrases by using the plus symbol. Don't forget that you'll need to add a space between the words as well. All right, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to just type in word 1. That's going to be a variable, is equal to input. That's our command. And then when I put quotations in here, this is what is going to be the question that it asks the user. I'm going to say enter a word. They have it. All right, and I'm going to do word 2 equals input. Same thing, enter a word. All right. Now, once they enter both words, we want to print. And we want to put, not that, we want to put word 1 plus, and I'm going to open up quotations and put a space in there, plus word 2. Okay. Oh, I'm going to save that. When I run it, you'll notice it asks me to enter a word. I'm going to put my first name, hit enter. Ask me to enter another word. I'm going to put my last name, hit enter, and you notice it prints my name with a space in it. Perfect. So let's grade it, check code. This takes a second. And we pass all 3. Perfect. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Question 2 says, write a program that asks the user to input their first and last names. The prompt should state, please input your first name. The second prompt should state, please input your last name. After accepting the inputs, your program should output the input in the form last name, comma, space, first name. Remember that you can concatenate, add 2 phrases by using the plus symbol. Don't forget that you'll need to add a comma as well, and that the comma must be followed by a space. So we're going to do it the same way we just did it. All right, so I'm going to put first name. See how I did that? Lowercase, then the uppercase. And we're going to say input. Please input your first name. And for this one, I'm going to do last name underscore name. So that's another way you can do it. Instead of doing lowercase, capital, capital, please input your last name. Now, I would suggest if you're doing it one way, I would do it that way for all of the variables, not like I did it and switched it up, just because you don't want to confuse yourself. All right, so after we input our first and last name, we're going to print. Sorry, I did that again. First name. See, I have to type it exactly like it's set up, or it's not going to work. And then we're going to put quotations, comma, space, plus last name. Notice I'm typing it exactly how it shows. And we hit save, hit run code, ask me to enter my first name, ask me to enter my last name. And I just realized I did that wrong, because it should be last name, then first name, according to the instructions. Not sure how they would know, but we're going to change it just to be on the safe side. Save it, run code again. Let's try that again. And there we go. Last name, then first name. Grading, check code. So what this would be used for is if you had a program, and it did give us 100, if you had a program that was asking users to, if they wanted to sort their names, you can input their names and then put that into the program. You could do it with email addresses, birthday, anything that you could think of, you could do it. All right, the next thing is the quiz. Make sure you get the quiz. I think I have it set for due by Thursday, but just make sure you get it done by the end of the week. There is an access code, and that access code is houseboat, all lowercase, to get in. And as you see, you only get 2 attempts. So make sure you are trying your best on the quiz. We'll talk about that more tomorrow in the live session. Have a great day.